Hi, everyone. This is Sarah Russell, functional nutritional therapy practitioner. And today I want to talk to you about um, the power of sharing our client stories in a supportive small group of like-minded practitioners. So we all know the power of being listened to when we are on the patient side or the client side of healthcare. Additionally, we know how important it is just to feel listened to and heard. And we know, and for example, psychotherapy has known for decades. Just think about Freud's work about the importance of someone telling their story and just being heard and listened to. He talked about, the healing power of just saying things that had been held and kept inside. We, of course, psychotherapy has evolved a lot since the times of Freud, and some parts of his theories have been dispelled, but the power of listening and being heard has always been incredibly acknowledged as powerful because we know that from our experience. As human beings, we have storytelling in our DNA, and we've told stories to ourselves, to our children, and to our communities to explain all kinds of things, to hold communities together, to create shared belief systems, to create communities, political frameworks, social activism, to make the world a better place, etc. So storytelling is incredibly important and compelling. So how does this translate into having a small community of practitioners who talk about case studies? So when I run my small case study groups, case study toolkit, every practitioner takes a turn talking about a case study that they are currently working on. It can be incredibly isolating for a practitioner to hold a client's story. Additionally, because we are trained to support our clients through a root cause and bio-individual approach to their health, we feel highly responsible for understanding how all the pieces of our client story fit together and what the best course of action is. Not only what can the client do, but in what order? How do we prioritize the various things that come up? Because of course, we don't want to overwhelm our client with too many action steps or make them so stressed out that they can't actually heal. What we want to do is come up with something really actionable, something that our client is going to feel empowered by while doing it, instead of exhausted from doing it. So for that and many other reasons, just even the fear of maybe missing something important, we can feel a lot of overwhelm when it comes to sitting alone with a client's story, with a client's case, and with a client's healing journey. So when we come to a small practitioner group and we tell the group about our new client who has, say, Sjogren's syndrome, and they have, these 8 symptoms, and we want to know, we want to brainstorm with our colleagues what we can do next. How can we make it easy for our client? How can we make it practical? Our client may be working, a 55-hour-a-week job, maybe having lunch in their car, skipping meals, not sleeping enough. Where do we start? What supplements might help them the most? Does anybody know, by the way, that, my client is taking an SSRI. This is the medication that they're taking. Is this contraindicated with any supplement that that I'm thinking about suggesting to my client? Some people may have experience already. Some people in the group may know how to research that very effectively. Or, maybe your client who has been newly diagnosed with Sjogren's syndrome and is taking an SSRI for their anxiety or depression, is also drinking 2 cups a day of wine, and you're not sure if that's making their autoimmune issue worse, if it's interacting with their medication, etc. So, someone in the group may already have gone through a case like this, or like I said, have the skills to quickly and easily research and find out the answers to your questions. Sometimes details will pop out more when you talk about them as a group. Somebody may make a connection that you were not able to make. That doesn't mean that you're inadequate. It just means that two heads are better than one in a small group where, maybe I'm facilitating a group of practitioners where they're up to 5 clinicians presenting cases. Then there are potentially 6 different brains working on your client's case as you're telling their story. As you tell your client's story, you may notice some details that you hadn't really noticed before you talked about them. It's almost like, when you were in college and you used to have to write papers and maybe, you would type on the computer screen and you wouldn't see the typos, but then you would print up the paper and read it out loud. And sound like a crazy person to yourself or to your roommates. And as you would read it slowly out loud, looking at the printed page, you would notice most of the typos, or maybe you would have your roommate look at the paper and they would find all the typos that you didn't find. That's the power of being a part of a community, a part of a small group of people. When, in our case study group, we are all rooting for every single person in the group. We're not in competition with each other. We are all collectively wanting each and every one of our clients to get better, to get healthier, to feel happy about the nutritional therapy journey that they're undertaking. And we want every practitioner in the group to succeed. So if that sounds really good, it feels really good to be part of a community like this. If this is what you're looking for, that encouragement, that support, that insight, that growth, the making of connections, the simplification of difficult things, in such a way as not to reduce them to inane parts that don't make any sense, but really to make things simple and actionable so your client can make progress without it being overwhelmingly difficult. If this all sounds good, I would love for you to look into Case Study Toolkit. We have openings both in our Wednesday group and in our Thursday group, and I would love for you to join. There's no better time than right now because, it's a time of renewal. We're about to go into fall, and it's a great time to really make sure that you have all your ducks in a row to support your one-on-one clients. And I would love to help you with that in the context of this empowering small group community. So thank you so much for listening. And I really hope that you will take a look at the programs on my website, buildnurturerestore.com. And you can look for the Case Study Toolkit page under the For Practitioners tab of the main page, and get in touch. And, if you have any questions about what we offer and how it works. Thanks a lot, and I'll talk to you soon.